Hey guys, what is going on? In this video, we're talking about how you can get cinematic footage out of any camera. Alright, so today is going to be a kind of fun video. So I got asked a long time ago to review this camera. It is the ODR VM action camera. This thing shoots 1080p, 720p, 60 frames a second. It's basically like a little GoPro knockoff. It looks the same. It's got the same type of attachments. It's an action camera. All right, let me interject here for a second. This wasn't what I originally intended to do with this video, but I mean, I already put the time and effort into shooting, editing, doing all that stuff, so I figured might as well still put it out. So, enjoy. So this company sent me a camera a long time ago and I agreed to do a review, but I never did it, and it's just one of those things that's been sitting on my shelf. I've been meaning to do it, but at the same time, it's not something that I typically review. Like, I like to do more of this kind of video. I like to do something that has more substance to it than just reviewing. Once in a while I will, if it's a product that I believe in, if it's a product that I think you guys should know more about. But there's so many people out there on YouTube that are doing just basic reviews that I don't want to just always be doing camera reviews. It's kind of boring. However, I took this out today and finally played with it and took it on an adventure, and the footage it's what you'd expect from a $50 little camera. It gets a shot, it gets audio, but it's nothing that I personally would use in my shoots. However, if you're looking for a cheap crash cam or you don't want to shell out the $500 for a GoPro 6, then this is a great alternative. So instead of doing a straight up review, I'm going to show you how to make anything look more cinematic. Now, please don't go down in the comments and start hating on me as soon as you see this footage. I did the best I could with just me going out and exploring in the wilderness. And basically what I wanted to do is come up with a sequence, a little short film, I mean like a minute when I'm talking short film, about my mountain climbing. So I'm a mountain climber and I go out and train all the time by climbing the different mountains and hills around Los Angeles. And so that's kind of my topic, and that's what I went for. All right, so I am hiking up the trail right now, about 30 minutes in, just going straight up this mountain. Behind me out there is all of Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Malibu. I like to come up to the mountains up here, the Santa Monica Mountains, to go exploring, but I wanted to give you guys a little look at how this camera shoots, just in general, just vlogging, just not touching the footage whatsoever. So this is straight from the camera. This is a little video I'm going to put together about training to climb mountains.
People often ask me why I climb mountains. Why would I put myself through endless hours of training to willingly suffer an ascent through sub-zero temperatures? I do it for the adventure. I do it because I have to. Life is about challenge. Life is about pushing boundaries. Life is about stepping outside your comfort zone. If you don't try something new or do something you're afraid of, then how will you know you don't like it? It's time to take that risk. It's time to push beyond your limits. It's time to step into the unknown. Because once you try, you may never look back.
So what do you think about that footage? It's interesting. It captures the moment. If you're trying to shoot something, I mean, you can use this camera and capture it. But to make something more cinematic, let me give you a rundown of some of the things that I tried to do. Okay, so the first is slow motion. Slow motion will make any footage look better, look more cinematic. I'm not saying it necessarily did on this camera, but it does in general make things more cinematic. Another tip is use perspectives. So take the camera and put it in all different places. As soon as you have your camera here right in front of your face, like this, or if you just like mount it in one spot and that the whole trip you're just like this, it's boring. So to make something more cinematic is to create more perspectives, is to show everything that's going on. So put the camera in different spots. Another tip is to put the camera close up and put the camera really far and wide. So one of the things that we forget when we're shooting is that the camera doesn't always need to be right on us or right in the same kind of shot perspective. You want to get that camera far away. You want to put it way out there and get the wide. But then you also want to get the super close up, so right there in your face. So using those different shot sizes will make something look more cinematic and more thought out. Okay, I added black bars. That will instantly make anything more cinematic. That's that format that you see in all movies. It's that super wide. You put the black bars on the top and bottom. Gives you that more cinematic look. Also, I color graded the footage and really just pushed it out of control with the way I color graded it. Because the footage itself, straight out of the camera, was just kind of whatever, I pushed it so it had really high contrast, some different colors, hopefully making it more cinematic. I thought so, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. Another thing is use flares, use sun, use any sort of light that is coming into the shot. So if you're shooting something just straight on, like this, and you have your source here, that gets boring after a while. So what you want to do is bring your camera behind where it starts flaring the light. You get those cool, sun rays, also playing with shadows. Try to use light in different ways to help move the story along. You don't want to just have a shot that's always lit and always looking nice. Another big one is moving camera. So if your camera is always on a tripod, it gets really boring, and vice versa. If your camera is always moving and always shaky, it gets boring. Try to vary up your shots. Try to use smooth movements and try to also put it on a tripod once in a while. When you have a difference in the way that you move the camera, the footage when cut together becomes more cinematic. So you have those slow shots, you have those jerky handheld shots when it makes sense, and you have those shots when it sits still. Now you want a combo of all these, and when you edit, you work them in together to help progress the story along. And I keep saying this, to help progress the story along. The core of anything to make something more cinematic and to make something watchable is to put a story behind it. So at the core of what I did, I had a story, and that story was I wanted to talk about training and why I climb mountains. So I created this voiceover, and I created this voiceover when I was in the field. I just wrote it in my phone and had it going through my head as I was shooting to figure out how I wanted to drive the story. Because at the end of the day, if you have an action camera and you're always just shooting footage like this, who's gonna watch that? Who's gonna wanna watch footage from the top of your head just going like this all day? Maybe you catch some funny moments here and there. But at its core, anything that is watchable and anything that is gonna pull a viewer in and wanna sit down with your film or your video, it's gotta have a story. It's gotta have some more substance to it. So you gotta create something around it. You gotta tell the story of your day. I went more dramatic and did try to do more of an inspirational thing. Try to capture some moments that are more story driven. So something that is bringing your audience into what you're doing and making them a passenger rather than just having them look at sexy footage or footage of you snowboarding or just pretty pictures from around the location. Nobody wants to watch just a string out of the same thing over and over and over. All right, so the last thing is obviously I added dramatic music. Music is gonna make your film more cinematic no matter what. The use of sound and the use of music are gonna completely change the way in which someone views your film. So always be thinking music and sound as well as your visuals, because it all works together to make something exciting. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful. This little challenge will help you think about your filmmaking in a different way. And guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot of awesome filmmaking tutorials. If you go down in the description, I put some links to some of my other videos that talk about how to get cinematic footage. There's a lot in there, a lot of these concepts plus others. So I would go down there, check those out, as well as check out some of my vlogs. I'll put a link to those as well. And as always, go check out my Instagram at Jeven Dovey. Shoot me a message if you have any questions or you want to chat. And guys, I will see you on the next one.